Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel to another week of Bake Off Technical Challenges Bake Along. Now I am making Custard Week's challenge. That was week 7 I believe on Bake Off already. Custard Week was new this year. I don't think we've had Custard Week before. I really enjoyed it. I thought the challenges were good. I thought the showstoppers looked delicious and the technical challenge sounds absolutely amazing. Until I then suddenly realised, wait, how am I going to make this? Because the bakers were asked to make 6 pistachio praline ice creams in a waffle cone. And I thought, well, I don't have an ice cream machine or a waffle cone machine. So what am I gonna do? But instead of giving up, because I did think, oh, should I make something else this week instead? But no, I'm going to try and do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make a no churn version of, or self-churn version of the ice cream without a machine. So I'm going to just freeze it, stir it, freeze it, stir it for a few hours, see if that works, and I'm going to try and make the cones in a frying pan and then roll them. It's not going to have the nice pattern, but that's what we're going to have to go with. So it's actually the evening time now, and I've decided I should start with the ice cream now so that I can freeze it then overnight. So I'm going to weigh out and prepare all my ingredients, and then we can get started on the ice cream. Okay, so I'm now ready to make the pistachio ice cream, which starts by making a crème anglaise, which is just like an English custard. So in this pot I have some double cream, milk and vanilla bean paste. Again, I just use this always. You can use a vanilla pod. I just think this is so much easier. And then in here I have some eggs and caster sugar, and you just make it like a very normal custard. I'm going to whisk the egg and the caster sugar, warm the milk and cream, and then pour it into the eggs carefully so that I don't scramble them. Return it to the pot and then stir until it's thick. And then I'm going to just pour it into a shallow dish to cool. What I will say is that because I'm not entirely sure if this no churn ice cream will work, also because pistachios are very expensive, I'm only going to make 2/3 of the original recipe. So I'm going to see what that's like in terms of quantities, if that's good, and this is just to test out if this really works without an ice cream machine. So I've used 400 ml of milk, 100 ml of double cream, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, and in here I have 6 egg yolks because the original recipe called for 9, and 100 grams of caster sugar. So yeah, I'm only doing 2/3 to see how it goes. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to heat my cream now, whisk my eggs, and then we'll make the custard. Right, so here is the custard. I've poured it into a shallow dish and also put it through a sieve just in case there was any lumps or anything. And now I'm going to cover it with cling film. Just make sure that the surface is completely covered so that you don't get any skin forming. And then I'm just going to leave that to chill at room temperature, to cool at room temperature for about half an hour or so, and then I think I'll put it into the fridge. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare the 2 other components for my ice cream. The first being a pistachio praline. There we go. Thank you, computer. Pistachio praline. Again, I'm making 2/3 roughly of the recipe. I'm just going to make a caramel, a dry caramel, by just heating some sugar in the frying pan and then adding some pistachio nuts. And then you tip them out onto a silicone mat, which I have here. Thanks Mum, this was a Christmas present a few years ago. So I've got that, one piece of equipment I actually do have. And then I'm also going to make a pistachio paste, for which I'm just going to blitz up some pistachios with, so they called for pistachio oil. Couldn't find it, probably would have been too expensive to buy anyway. So I am using vegetable oil as that is neutral in flavour, and I'm just going to blitz that up to make a pistachio puree for the ice cream. So yeah, those are the next steps, and then we just have to mix everything together and start my strange churning, freezing technique, which I'm going to see if that works. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so it's a wee while later. The custard has been in the fridge for about 45 minutes to an hour now. It's fairly cool, so I'm going to move on to finishing the ice cream so that I can start freezing and mixing it. So to make the ice cream, we have the custard, we have the pistachio puree, which looks like this. I used like, I think the recipe is wrong. I think they say teaspoons, but they mean tablespoons, because I needed about 6 or 7 8 teaspoons for this, so I'm going to change my recipe accordingly. But yeah, this pistachio puree I'm going to now blend with a stick blender in the custard, and then I'm going to add the praline, the pistachio praline. I just roughly chopped this praline up, not finely chopped it, and I will stir that in at the end. They do say to add a little bit of food colouring as well, pistachio green. I obviously don't have that specific colour. I'm going to see what the colour looks like and then decide if I add any food colouring or not. But first of all, we're going to add the custard and the pistachio cream, pistachio paste, and blitz that up with the hand blender. Right, okay, so I blitzed the cream, the custard with the pistachio cream. I actually just reread the recipe and they say to add the praline a little later. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this Tupperware now with a lid. I'm going to put it in the freezer, and then I'll just check on it every 15, 20, 30 minutes or so and give it a stir until I feel like, once it's like starting to freeze quite well and firm up, I will stir through the praline. But yeah, I'm just going to do that over the next couple hours before bed, and I'll write in my recipe how often I actually did it, what time intervals. But yeah, anyway, this is going in the freezer now. Right, so it's the next day. My ice cream is ready, it's in the freezer. It took probably about 4 or 5 hours to freeze solid. I got up and stirred it about every 30 minutes, and now it's really, really hard, so later before scooping it out, I'll probably need to let it soften for maybe 20 odd minutes or so. But today now I'm going to make the waffle cones. They're obviously not going to have as nice a pattern because I'm just going to try and do them in the frying pan. But I do have, and this is something also I think was a present a few years ago, I have these pastry horn molds, so I'll be able to just take one of them and wrap the cones around this whilst they're still hot. So to make the cones, I've put 2 egg whites in a bowl. Yesterday when I needed the 6 egg yolks for the custard, I made sure that I put 2 egg whites aside in a separate bowl, and the rest, which can go in an omelette or something, but these are the 2 that you'll need to make the waffle cones. And what we're going to do now is we're going to whisk them until they form soft peaks, add a little bit of salt and then a tablespoon of icing sugar, mix until we have firm peaks, stiff peaks, and then we're going to just add in some icing sugar, more icing sugar, flour, some vanilla extract, and also some butter, which I have melted and now left to cool. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, and then we can make the waffle cones on the frying pan. Right, well, I can't quite decide how successful that really was. Essentially, it felt like making pancakes, small pancakes, but trying to get them really, really thin. It took me a few attempts. There was some that I made, like this one, which is absolutely, it even burned inside, but like this is as thick as a doorstop, so yeah, that's away with that. But I made the rest of them. I've now dipped them in chocolate and then also in some chopped pistachios, and now I'm going to let them set. And then I'm going to use this leftover melted chocolate with, I'm going to stir in a tiny bit of coconut oil just so that it doesn't harden and stays more of a chocolatey sauce. And yeah, once these are hard, we can scoop in some of the pistachio ice cream and then give them a try. So yeah, I'm just waiting now for the chocolate on these to set, so maybe about 20-25 minutes. Okay, so here we have the finished ice cream product. It's already melting. This is the ice cream. It looks actually really, really nice. The cones are okay, they're holding up okay, the chocolate's hardened, and yeah, it's melting everywhere, so I think I'm just gonna try it. Mmm. Wow. Woo. Oh, the praline, the leftover praline I sprinkled on top, it's falling off. Oh, that's so nice. I really, really like this. I don't know how long the cones will last. I doubt that they'll still be crisp tomorrow. So I might have to make some more, but even on its own, this ice cream is actually really, really nice. And it worked well, even without the equipment. So the cones were like so-so a success. The ice cream, I think, was a success. Well, this was very stressful. I've just been running back and forth trying to take pictures of my ice creams before they melt. But if you want to try this yourself, without all the fancy equipment, I've put my version of the recipe on my blog. There'll be a link under the video for you to look at for the recipe. And yeah, if you do make it, let me know how it goes. And yeah, I'll be back next week for technical challenge number 8, I think it is. So yeah, see you next week. Bye.